Let's do some Q&A. We still have about half an hour for a Q&A session. You can ask me to clarify something if it didn't make sense to you. Something in the video, what was going on, why it was going on, how I got started, jail stories, whatever you want. I'm here to please. Somebody popped up back there first.
So, for let's say I did want to become a vegetarian, price range for a week amount of food versus somebody who eats meat and goes Walmart or Target or Kroger to the grocery stores that aren't generally pushed towards vegetarians or vegans. What would be the difference in price?
It's going to be cheaper. There's a big myth out there that it's more expensive to be veg, and let me explain this in a couple different ways. Now, first of all, the cheapest things on the market are cruelty-free and vegan. Rice, beans, lentils, pastas, things like that. Keep in mind, this is why poor people, impoverished people around the world, they're vegetarians. Eating meat is a luxury. It's only cheap in America because we subsidize the hell out of it. And I want you to put one thing into the equation that nobody ever wants to put into the equation. Health. Pharmaceuticals, hospital visits, doctor visits, all these pills, all the vitamins, healthcare. That stuff was not created for vegan. Those are meat-eating creations. I'm about to turn 40 in August. I have no healthcare. I take no vitamins. I see no doctor. I don't need to. I eat properly and I exercise. So if you put health into the equation, meat eating is the most expensive diet out there for sure. Also keep in mind, if you do buy processed foods, vegan or non-vegan, you always pay a little extra. If you pay Turtle Island Foods to make you a tofurkey, if you pay Lean Cuisine to make you some kind of meat dish, it's a little more pricier because somebody did it for you. So you can also, if you're really good in the kitchen, make this stuff on your own. Now, I got a recipe section online. I also have a restaurant section and a grocery section too. So you can always look up that stuff. You can contact me, ask me, how do I make this favorite recipe of yours? I will track it down. My girlfriend too is a wonderful chef as well. So keep all those things into the equation. Let me say one more too. If you eat out, whether you eat meat or you're vegan, it's always a little more pricier too. So don't blame it on, I went to this vegan restaurant and it was pricey. Outback Steakhouse isn't so cheap either. And Longhorn Steakhouse and all these other places too. And if you eat out at restaurants, places like Subway, their veggie sub, when they're not doing their $5 special, the veggie sub is always the cheapest thing on their menu on Italian bread and it's vegan. If you go to Taco Bell, get a bean burrito without the cheese, you want to talk about dirt cheap, 99 cents. And I bring this up because students try to do this with me all the time. Gary, I understand what you're saying, but I'm broke. I'm a college student, only got $1, gotta go to McDonald's. Well, you can do the same nasty shit at Taco Bell too, okay? And I say nasty shit because if you eat at McDonald's, don't tell me you're eating for taste. Yes, sir?
So how do you get the same meat taste for a vegan meal without using meat?
Yeah, if you use the right combinations of vegetables and spices, you'd be amazed what you can mimic. For instance, there's a lot of mock fish that's out there. I was talking about the shrimp from that company. If you go to a website called Veggie World, V-E-G-I-E, 1G, veggieworld.com, they got fake lobster, they got cod, they got salmon, any fish product you're looking for, they use seaweed. Seaweed gives it a fishy smell and a fishy taste. You've all had a good portobello mushroom at some time too. If you hook up a portobello mushroom on the grill, it tastes awfully steaky. So they use mushrooms when they want to get a beef flavor too. The woman that runs my recipe section, Amy Ball, one of the best chefs that nobody knows about. I was passing through San Francisco a few years ago, and one of my perks for traveling is that I get to eat all over the country, and I know what's vegan, what's out there, so I stopped by her house, and she says, you want a vegan hard-boiled egg, Gary? Actually, she didn't say vegan. You want a hard-boiled egg? I said, are you kidding me? You got a vegan hard-boiled egg? What do you mean? There are no vegan hard-boiled eggs. She goes, I got one for you. She takes an avocado, slices it in half, takes half of it out. Think of an avocado. Think of a yolk that's been hard-boiled. The same texture. One's yellow, one's green. She takes the avocado, puts it on some vegan mashed potatoes that she made with hemp milk or rice milk, whatever her vegan milk of the day was, that mimicked the outside softness of the egg. She puts 2 dashes of salt on there and goes, take a bite. Holy shit. Vegan hard-boiled egg. So if you get really creative people in the kitchen, there are a lot of creative chefs out there, they can make anything taste like something else. So that's what they're doing. No chemicals. No chemicals. Yes?
Some of these meat-alike foods, do they have to go to extra lengths, like add a lot of sodium or corn syrup?
There's sodium in there for sure. Absolutely. And salt is something that gives things a lot of taste, so you might have to look out if you want to watch your sodium. But I don't want people to be concerned about sodium before you're concerned about animal protein, cholesterol, saturated fat, all the other things. It's kind of pointless. It's kind of like somebody smoking a cigarette in my face and going, "Hey Gary, you should really smoke that weed." I'm like, what are you talking about? If you're doing something unhealthy, what's the point of trying to keep away something else that might be unhealthy for you? Yeah.
From what I understand, the basic concept of veganism is not to exploit or harm living beings, right? Everything from, say, cows to even yeast. But what about, say, if you have to deal with parasites, bacterial infections, diseases from that, how would you go about treating yourself?
Yeah, self-defense is an acceptable form of protecting yourself.
That's understandable, but say as a doctor in your profession, you have to go in there and you have to kill living beings.
Kill what, bacteria?
Yeah.
So are you founder of People for the Ethical Treatment of Bacteria? The only thing that bothers me when this is brought up is that you want to equate cows in the same level as parasites,
Oh
as
no,
bacteria.
I'm equating bacteria and yeast together.
Okay, but do bacteria harm you most of the time? When they do, they're harmful. You have a right to defend yourself and kill something that's harming you. Now let me explain this in a different way. If you and I were walking through the woods and a bear attacked you and jumped on you, do you really think I'd be like, "Huh, too bad, I'm vegan, man"? Okay, I would beat the shit, or try to beat the shit out of you and get them off of you. This is self-defense. You were attacked. But if some human jumped on you for no reason, I'd also protect you too. If bacteria are killing you and destroying your body, you have a right to destroy the bacteria that's trying to destroy you. Keep in mind, cows do not attack us. Chickens have never attacked a human being in history. Something else I'm kind of curious about, how come we think we're better than chickens when we kill 35 to 40 billion chickens every year on this planet? We've been doing this for thousands of years. How is the murderer more special than the murdered? How is the oppressor better than the oppressed? We got this stuff backwards. We're not better than them. We're the ones attacking them. That makes us less important. That makes us worse. That makes us evil. Yes, sir.
So, say the world population is at 8 billion now, and at least most of the United States is considered meat eaters, right? So, with only a certain portion of the world being devoted to farmland or places we can grow food, it just seems to me that if most of the world went vegan, then it would, I know your quote on the 65% of the grain goes to meat products, but how would we support ourselves without meat products, I guess is what I'm trying to say, or eggs, or...
Easily and wonderfully. Let me throw out some other stats. 95% of soy in America, that's animal feed. 80% of corn in America, animal feed. 70% of oats in America, that's animal feed. If we ate the stuff directly, do you know that 1 acre of land can yield 30,000 pounds of carrots, 40,000 pounds of potatoes, and 50,000 pounds of tomatoes? 1 acre of land can only give you 250 pounds of meat. Okay, we would be using less land, destroying less habitat if we just ate crops directly. Please go to the environment section on my website or go to a website called earthsave.org. Everybody gets fed. Here, let me throw this out there. Do you know the world's largest Feed the Hungry organization is called Food for Life Global? Please look them up online. When I found out about this group that solely uses vegetarian and vegan food to feed people 2 million meals per day, I found out about them about 10 years ago. I also found the second largest group on the planet doing Feed the Hungry stuff is Plenty. Plenty.org is their website. Both are vegetarian groups. Now, I sent a letter to both presidents saying, "Oh my God, this is wonderful. Finally, somebody realized you don't have to harm animals to help people." I got letters back that were almost identical. They said something like this: "It's not that we do this for ethical reasons. We don't want to argue with you. We don't want to debate you on that. We do this because it's cheaper, And we feed 20 to 30 times the amount of people when we use vegetarian food than when groups use meat. Another question, somebody up here, right there.
I agree with you in the vegetables and fruit and all that stuff is really good for you, but I guess would say processed soy is bad for you because it causes the body to generate extra estrogen.
Well, here's something interesting on that. If estrogen is people's concern about soy, meat and cow's milk have twice the amount of estrogen that's found in soy. But let me break this down for you. So the estrogen that's found in soy is a phytoestrogen, P-H-Y-T-O, plant-based. Phytoestrogens cause no harm to the human body whatsoever. It's animal estrogens that drive the body crazy. But I got some good news for you. If you're really concerned about eating soy, you don't want to do it, don't do it. Eating soy does not mean that you can't be vegan or not eating it. There's wheat meat, or just get down to the nuts and bolts of veganism. Go fruits and vegetables, lentils and beans, and things like that. So you don't have to make soy part of your diet. And if you want to go to my website, I hope you do. I got a brand new section about all the myths out there about soy. A lot of them are being spread by Mr. Michael Pollan, The Omnivore's Dilemma. And by the way, what the hell is the dilemma? Is being kind instead of cruel really problematic to people? Michael Pollan, by the way, is a hunter, is an unpaid spokesman for the meat and dairy industries. Please do not go listening to the Food Incorporated movie or to his Omnivore's Dilemma book. He's nothing but Ted Nugent light.
I was just wondering if you only bought products made in the U.S. because you're advocating like cruelty-free, but then what about like cruelty to other people in sweatshops? Do you only buy American?
Oh yeah, nowadays you can look at the tag, and it's from Hemptown. I buy my stuff from vegan companies that pay a fair wage, and yeah, I don't do the Target stuff anymore, the Kohl's or anything like that. There are a lot of other issues to be concerned about, and I'm glad that this is brought up. But let's keep in mind the main form of cruelty on the planet is what we do with the animals. But please get involved in other issues like avoiding sweatshops, trying to buy locally and all that stuff.
Do you find that it's affordable to buy?
You know, I got 3 of these shirts. I just ordered them. They were $9 each. And they were dirt cheap too. It's not as difficult as people think to live ethically. It only seems that way because we're used to the other way of not caring about where products come from, not caring about what happens to other animals and to other human beings.
What country were you kicked out of?
Canada kicked me out first in 1999. This happened because in 1997 I decided I wanted to do more than just be vegan. I wanted to actually free animals who were being held captive. So I went to a mink concentration camp, a fur farm for animals, the Ebert's Fur Farm in Blenheim, Ontario. Now, I'm from Michigan, so Canada's right across, half an hour, 45 minutes away. So I went to this farm and I opened up the cages for 1,542 mink. Now, mink in the fur industry are killed 2 ways. One, they have their necks manually broken. They take them out of a cage and snap their neck against somebody's knee, or they gas them back to the concentration camp stuff. Now, things went badly that evening. I was arrested, and quickly, 540 mink actually escaped that night. Holes were cut in the perimeter fence. There was a little dirt road. And then there were 600 acres of forest. That's all they had to do was get across the street, find a way out. Unfortunately, 1,000 mink never made it off the grounds. For that, they were doomed. All I can give them or anyone else would be a chance to be free. I mean, let's face it, if you were all being held in captivity, you were going to have your neck snapped, your skin ripped off your body so somebody else could make a pair of slippers. You'd all be going, man, I hope Gary's coming by tonight. Open up this damn cage, give me a chance. So I got arrested that night. I was put in maximum security, by the way. I was given a 6-month sentence. I did 77 days before they deported me and threw me out, made me persona non grata. And let me just tell you a quick little story, too. While I was in jail, I was with some pretty bad people, child molesters, rapists, murderers, people who tried to stab people. They were trying to teach me a lesson. They put me in one of the worst places around. So they put me in the unit on day 1, kind of a holding unit before they moved me to my unit. And there's a TV set on in the corner. And the alpha male's got the clicker, and he's 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30 news. Lead story in Canada that night. International terrorist Gary Yourofsky sent to jail tonight. Gary Yourofsky, international terrorist, sent to jail. I got international terrorist with every mention of my name. I'm from Michigan. It's Canada. I am now below